They should be penciled, if not pinned, if not permanent markered into the Super Bowl for the foreseeable future. If you're laying money down, if you're making predictions, if you're making bets, you bet on the Patriots. It is 3 straight Super Bowls. It's 4 in 5 years. It's 9 in 17 starting seasons for Tom Brady. This earns you the benefit of the doubt. Now, everybody in our business, actually everybody in every business, loves potential, the next best thing, hype, upside. That's what we say when it comes to every NBA or NFL draft. And so we're going to look for what comes after the Patriots, and we make the mistake that everybody consistently makes. That's ignoring what is for what could be. What is and has been for going on well over a decade now is that the New England Patriots, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick own the AFC. And it will be that way. You should have learned. I should have learned. We all should have learned. They play the us against the world card. But you know what? They're right. Last year it was their defense. This year it's their injuries. This year it's their offense can't keep up. Every time we doubt them, they are back in. And I'm not going to start doubting them again, not in this Super Bowl and not next year until further notice.
Well,
the Patriots.
Before I go into my little soliloquy, how long have you felt this way about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick?
I have felt this way for a while, and I want to say something.
When you say a while, what does that mean?
Years.
Okay.
Okay? Last year, I swear, we all played this game. The defense isn't good enough. We wrote them off. And I said I want to be the last one out at the Patriots party. I'll hit the lights. I did doubt them against the Chargers.
Okay.
I did doubt them this year against the Chargers, and I learned my lesson.
Well, the reason why I was asking that question is because from 2004 to 2014, there was no Super Bowl championship, and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were there. All right? And this is when they were younger, healthier, obviously some would say sharper, whatever the case may be. The bottom line is this. They can be beat. Obviously, they're the favorites. You look at what they've accomplished. I'm not going to dismiss that. But what I will tell you is that if the Kansas City Chiefs had gotten Rex Ryan as the defensive coordinator instead of Steve Spagnuolo, I would have stood here this morning and told you that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be the favorite to come out of the AFC next year. That's how definitive I would have been about it, because that's how strong I believe in their offense. And I think if they modify things somewhat defensively, they beat the New England Patriots. And I'm of the mindset, I can understand the notion till further notice, but do I think that the New England Patriots are going to go to a 4th straight Super Bowl next year? No, I do not. I will also say this. When we talk about the New England Patriots, as much credit as they deserve, and we can't take away anything from them, let's understand that what they really deserve credit for is the 2 playoff games that they get to play. Because by playing in the AFC East, it's a foregone conclusion you're going to win that division. It's a foregone conclusion that because 6 of your games each year are going to be against opponents in the AFC East, that you're going to have a top 2 seed come playoff time, which means that you'll have at least 1 game at Foxborough, which means that basically, in a worst-case scenario, you got to go on the road and win, which is what they just did against Kansas City. We can't take away anything from the New England Patriots in that regard, but what I will tell you is this. Adam Gase, Sean McDermott, please. Now we've got Brian Flores, a guy that's the defensive coordinator for New England, who's about to be the head coach in Miami. It'll be interesting to see what happens next year with that. New England will be in the picture, there's no doubt. But I think that when we look at the road that other teams have to travel, we have to take into account the fact that the road that the New England Patriots have to travel is not nearly as arduous because of competition in the AFC
There's no doubt.
East.
There's no doubt, but all you're doing is explaining the why, while I tell you what the is.
Well,
you're telling me the AFC East has been weak and it set the Patriots up to be in a good position come playoff time, and I would say you're absolutely right. And thus another reason why we should not begin to doubt the Patriots yet another year. Going into the Super Bowl, going into the AFC in 2019. Why would you start your doubts then? See, this is my point.
Let me answer that question.
Go ahead.
Brady does turn 42 in August.
No,
I'm just saying. You look at that. We looked at Gronk fading. We looked at Edelman being on a roller coaster ride this year. Josh Gordon wasn't there. Again, we see that they found a way to overcome, and they deserve all the credit in the world for it. The flip side to it is that you looked at Kansas City. They could have won that game. You looked at the Chargers. They were incredibly transparent with their defense, and it was very, very disappointing to see them perform the way that they did based on what we saw during the regular season. All I'm saying to you is that I can make a case that there are other teams that could give them a run. There's somebody that can knock them off in the AFC next year based on what we've seen this year.
What I'm saying is, why do you keep touching the stove? You've been burned over and over. Learn your lesson.
The
lesson is, look what the Patriots dynasty has survived. Look what you've laid out for us over the past 7 minutes. And look what that resembles over the past several years. Number one, they've survived the rise of several teams that we thought would be next. The Colts and Andrew Luck when they were young. The Jaguars when they were dominating everybody on defense.
Never thought either of those teams would beat the Patriots.
Maybe you personally did not think these particular teams would take down the dynasty. But we have looked for the next best thing. And the current one is the Chiefs. And I think the Chiefs are great. But I'm telling you, the Patriots have earned the benefit of the doubt that what will be the future has been what has been in the past. They have dominated. And on the Brady front, on the age front, that's another one, man. Don't touch the stove. The guy that sits in this chair on a normal basis keeps playing that game.
No, but you know what I think also, one point on that, and I'm curious, is it fair to say that times are just changing? And I know Max brings up the rules that quarterbacks are so protected in terms of longevity, but just diet, training, life expectancy is longer, that football players are just going to play longer than they did in the past.
I got a better answer for you, Patrick Mahomes. When you see a young brother like that coming, okay, that's what you pay attention to more so than anything else. Like, for example, we're not sitting here calling the New England Patriots the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. We saw them get knocked off in the Super Bowl by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Here's the thing.
There isn't ingredients to take them out. And then you've got a guy like Patrick Mahomes who's coming. And we know that Kansas City's defense pretty much lost that game.
But, Stephen A., Patrick Mahomes doesn't have Bill Belichick. Is Patrick Mahomes going to take pay cuts so they can have the pieces around them? All those things they haven't faced yet.
I think that's a long-term question, but but that's not a question we have to concern ourselves with for next season.
No,
and I'm talking about, I'm thinking New England will get knocked off next season. We got a guy in Patrick Mahomes that scored 31 points in the second half, that scored 24 points in the fourth quarter, that the Kansas City defense can stop and we're having a different conversation.
This team, this franchise, has survived the next best thing in the AFC several times. They have survived the fads of offensive and defensive changes.
I agree.
They've survived the doubts about Tom Brady's age. They've survived the doubts about their defense. They've survived year in and year out of us trying to write them off. Why would you do it again next year?